I know someone who at the age of 19 taught himself how to play the guitar, and today he's considered by musicians to be one of the greatest jazz guitarists in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Wes Montgomery.
John Leslie Montgomery, born March 6, 1923, lived till June 15, 1968, was an American jazz guitarist. He was widely considered one of the major jazz guitarists, emerging after such seminal figures as Django, the D is silent, Reinhardt, and Charlie Christian, and influenced countless others, including Grant Green, Pat Martino, George Benson, Russell Malone, Emily Remler, Kenny Burrell, Pat Metheny, Steve Howe, and Jimi Hendrix. Montgomery was born in Indianapolis, Indiana. Wes Montgomery, the nickname Wes, was a child's abbreviation of his middle name, Leslie. He came from a musical family. His brothers, Monk and Buddy, were jazz performers. The brothers released a number of albums together as the Montgomery Brothers. Although he was not skilled at reading music, he could learn complex melodies and riffs by ear. Montgomery started learning the six-string guitar at a relatively late age of 20 by listening and learning the recordings of his idols, guitarist Charlie Christian. However, he played a four-string tenor guitar since the age of 12. He was known for his ability to play Christian solos note for note, and was hired by Lionel Hampton for this ability. Many fellow jazz guitarists consider Montgomery the greatest influence among modern jazz guitarists. According to jazz educator Wolf Marshall, Montgomery often approached solos in a three-tiered manner. He would begin a repeating progression with single note lines derived from scales or modes. After fitting a number of sequences, he would play octaves for a few more sequences, finally culminating with block chords. He used mostly superimposed triads and arpeggios as the main source for his soloing ideas and sounds. Instead of using a guitar pick, Montgomery plucked the strings with the fleshly part of his thumb, using downstrokes for single notes and combination of upstrokes and downstrokes for chords and octaves. Montgomery developed this technique not for technical reasons, but for his wife. He worked long hours as a machinist before his career began and practiced late at night while his wife was sleeping. He played with his thumb so that his playing would be softer and not wake her. The technique enabled him to get a mellow, impressive tone from his guitar. Wes had a corn on his thumb, which gave his sound that point. He would get one sound for the soft parts, and then that point by using the corn. That's why no one will ever match Wes. And his thumb was double jointed. He could bend it all the way back to touch his wrist, which he would do to shock people. Wes was known for developing the guitar technique of playing in octaves while soloing. He toured with Lionel Hampton's orchestra from July 1948 to January 1950, returned to Indianapolis to be with his family, including his brothers Monk and Buddy Montgomery, who together recorded for the Pacific Jazz label. He was then signed to Riverside Records in 1959, released a series of highly acclaimed small group recordings in traditional jazz bebop style of the day. In November of 1964, released the first of 10 albums on the Verve label, including 2 with organist Jimmy Smith. In June of 1965, released the classic Smokin' at a Half Note and began a crossover into pop jazz style, where he prospered and gained recognition outside of jazz. In 1966, he won a Grammy Award for Best Instrumental Jazz Performance. Moved to A&M Records and recorded 3 albums consisting mainly of popular songs of the day. In 1969, won the second Grammy again for Best Instrumental Jazz Performance. At the height of his popularity, Wes died of a heart attack on June 15, 1968, leaving an unprecedented legacy as one of the great jazz innovators and improvisers.
Thank you.